What up? What up? What up, y'all? This is the Wolf Winning Picks with
Hey, what's happening? It's the Blue Report.
it's playoff for this night.
Playoffs.
Playoffs. Playoffs. Y'all, we doing the Arkansas Grade 8. Y'all responded last week and told us just to do the 8 games until when? How long
Until
we doing?
around about the quarterfinals, then you know what I'm saying.
It's still some weak games
it's,
right now.
It's still some games that you know is kind of some toss ups. You know, shouts out to my boy Mike Elvis. He's our silent producer.
Helps us out on the most. I got you. Y'all, let's go ahead and get cranked up. We're gonna start with Cabot at Fayetteville. Fayetteville outscores opponents 33-25 weekly. Defense and a run game seems to be the biggest problems with Fayetteville this year. But they have a solid quarterback and they do have 2 stud receivers. New Look Cabot passes 65% of their offense. And this season they've averaged 36 points a game and over 350 yards a game. Cabot lost a close one to North Little Rock, which I told Byron last week. North Little Rock was kind of looking more like they sell. But they beat they lost to North Little Rock in a thriller last week. I think Cabot is a more complete team, and I think they'll be able to pass and run. I'm taking them by 3.
Fayetteville has a quarterback, Hank Gibbs. He's 6'6". That's a tall guy. He throw the football. Quad Mosier, committed to Central Florida from Fayetteville. But Cabot will counter with the junior quarterback, Tyler G., over 2,300 yards passing, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I like Cabot on the road in Fayetteville Friday, and I'm going to try to be at that game myself.
All right. You're going to be the first hand.
I'm trying to
You going to go live?
Yeah, I might go live.
Okay, all right. We
I may go live on Facebook.
Okay, all right.
Let's be clear.
El Dorado at Jonesboro. El Dorado is riding a 3-game winning streak entering the playoffs, where they've outscored opponents 125-22. Jonesboro is coming off a bad loss to Marion, and that took them from number 1 seed to a number 4 seed. The winner plays Benton next week. Jonesboro has more talent, and they're at home. Jonesboro by 10.
El Dorado senior defensive end Quentin Frazier has more than 130 tackles. So that means my boy cross jumper, he's going to have to be careful with him coming off the end. I think El Dorado does a lot of different things with him off the end, each side, and line him up in different areas. But I like the talent that Jonesboro has. They've been playing well. Going to get back on the winning track Friday. I like Jonesboro.
All righty, we got Silver Hills at Lake Hamilton. Silver Hills is a 6 seed for the second year in a row, and last year they advanced to the semifinals, being a 6 seed. Mm-hmm. They're coming off a 28-21. They're coming off a 38-21 loss to Searcy. Lake Hamilton has lost their last 2, and they got whooped by Greenwood last week, 42-14. The winner plays at West Memphis. Lake Hamilton has a mean run game, and I think that with the home field advantage, they get the win by 3.
That mean run game is led by Owen Miller. Lake Hamilton, 156 yards last week, 2 touchdowns against Greenwood. But sophomore quarterback Corey Washington, over 230 yards passing last week, 2 touchdowns against Searcy for Silver Hills. I'm going with Silver Hills at the upset.
Really?
On the road.
That run game from Lake Hamilton, you forgot about it?
Yeah, they took the mail, man.
All right.
I'm going with Silver Hills. How I feel about Silver Hills, man?
I got you.
Yeah.
We got Morton at Valley View. Valley View is undefeated. They have a defense that gives up just 9 points a game. They do have a couple of key players that are a little banged up. They could set them back. Motown is led by one of the best players in the state, Jacoby Criswell. He completes 67% of his passes. He's bad. He only got 3 interceptions on the year. In a close one, I'm taking Valley View at home.
Wow.
Damn.
Y'all know his mom is from Morris.
She from the Mo.
Valley View safety Carter Winters, 119 tackles on the season. Cornerback Travis Graff, 5 interceptions on the season. Ian Riverdine, love that name, 42 tackles, 18 for losses, 9 sacks. That's what Valley View is bringing to the table.
Okay.
Jacoby Criswell, over 2,400 yards passing, over 700 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns on the ground, 24 by air. I'm going with Double Dogs.
Motown on the
I'm
road.
going with Double Dogs. I got you, Mama Sue.
I get
I'm going with Double Dogs.
All right. We got Bauxite at Darnell. Bauxite played the gauntlet. They played 3 of the 4 top teams in 4A, and they went 0-3 against those teams. Mm-hmm. But Bauxite is tough. They have they're a gritty team with a mean offensive line. Darnell, they have only lost 1 game this season. They have a really good defense and a good offensive line. Yep. They've only given up 28 points in their last 4 games. Bauxite is tough. But I'm taking Darnell.
Well, I would take Darnell in the game. Also, like a box I could be without their starting quarterback Connor Stason with the arm injury. Also, receiver Braylon Walker was 40 catches, 855 yards, 7 touchdowns. He might be done for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Darnell, Cameron Hurst, 78 tackles. Jordan Metcalf, 61 tackles. Also, he has over 1,700 yards of total offense and 6 touchdowns on offensive end. Sand Lizards at home.
All right. We got Mina at Gosdale. Mina has a 10.5 round trip to Gosdale.
That's a long ride.
That's a long ride.
Dude, I think they lived yesterday.
Mina did let me down last week. They did do that in a close one to Darnell, 14-10. Mina defense only allows 13 points a game. Gosnell dropped their last 2 games, including a 36-30 loss to Jonesboro Westside last week. The Mina Magic by 1. It continues.
On the road. Look at
Yeah.
Zane Stevens had 9 touchdown passes on the year, 6 rushing touchdowns for Mina. Jadarian Young, 11 carries, 94 yards last week, and he had 94 yards receiving, over 1,000 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns. I like Gosnell at home. That's too long of a ride.
I'm going to be tired of sleeping when they're
hungry.
All right, y'all. Harrisburg at Atkins. Harrisburg hasn't been to the playoffs since 2011. They are a young team led by sophomores, but they have the advantage with the offensive line that's bigger than the Atkins D-line. Atkins will depend on their stud quarterback and solid receivers. The winner plays whoever wins out of Perryville and McGee. I'm going with Harrisburg by 1.
Ooh, Harrisburg on the roll. Samuel Moore, quarterback Samuel Moore, running back James Ponder and Jacob Wallace, and they lead Harrisburg in all-purpose yards and everything. Leading tackler is a sophomore by the name of Kobe Summers. Atkins Eli Robertson, over 2,600 yards passing, 36 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That boy putting up numbers right there. I like Atkins at home.
I got you.
At the hill.
I got you. We got Dirks at Hackett. This should be a high-scoring affair. Lots of good skill players on both teams that are very explosive. 2 really good passing teams that have trouble stopping the pass. Dirks is 1-4 on the road, and this is the playoffs. I'm taking Hackett by 1.
Should be a lot of fun. I'm going with the over-under is on this one.
I don't know.
Hackett quarterback Avery Hessler, 481 yards, 10 touchdowns, and that's on the ground. By the air, over 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns. Dirks, Chandler Lowry, and running backs Austin Hanson, Andrew Kirby, and sophomore Connor Shelton. They combined for 297 yards last week over 329 yards of rushing. I like Hackett in this game in the shootout by 1. I believe the score will probably be 50-51.
It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy.
Crazy. Y'all, we appreciate y'all tuning in. This is the Wolf Winning Pick with Blue Report, the Great 8. We're going to break down the playoffs every week until we get to the championship week. We appreciate y'all tuning in.
Peace.